Hello everyone, my name is Aswa Pascal and this is coming to you from the National Fellowship of Christian Pharmacy Students UNN chapter, and today we are talking about emotion in this tutorial video. Now what are emotions? Emotions are liquid preparations that usually contains two immiscible liquid, usually oil and water. Now depending on the type of oil we use, all the oils are classified into fixed oil, volatile oil, mineral oil. Now fixed oil, examples of fixed oil are arachis oil, cod liver oil. For volatile oil, we have turpentine oil. And for mineral oil, we have liquid paraffin. And also for the other types of oils, there are examples of other types of oils there. Now, depending on the type of oil we are using to prepare an emulsion, there has to be a ratio between the volume of that oil and the volume of water, and also a ratio related to also the gum we are using. Now, in preparation of emulsions, there are two immiscible liquid, remember, but we have to make use of an emulsifying agent or gum, which will be tragacanth, acacia, etc. etc. So going on to this question, you say we should make an emulsion and send 30 ml. According to this question, now you must know what type of oil you are being given. And this arachis oil and cod liver oil, they are an example of fixed oil. So we are going to be using the ratio from this table, which is 4 to 1. 4 to 1. This is for the oil, the water, and the gum. And in this preparation, this is going to be the ratio between the volume of the oil, the volume of the oils or water, and also the weight of the emulsifying agents being used here. So before then, we're going to get our multiplication factor. Amount sent is 30 ml and amount given is 100 ml. So our multiplication factor is 30 over 100, which is equal to 0.3. Getting our working formula, we multiply our multiplication factor with our original formula, which is 20 multiplied by 0.3 and 0.3, which should give us 6 ml each for this. Multiplying our water by 0.3, we get 30 ml. So this is it. So we've gotten the weight of our oil, which is 6 plus 6. The weight of our oil is going to be 6 plus 6. Weight of oil, weight of oil. Excuse me. So our weight of oil is going to be is 6 plus 6, which is 12. Note that arachis oil and cod liver oil are an example of fixed oil. So 6 plus 6 will give us 12. I'm going to the volume of our oil. I'm going to water. Since 4 ml of oil for fixed oil should contain 2 ml of water, and 12 ml should contain how many ml of water? So when we cross multiply this, which is 24, divide by 4, we are getting around 4 divided by 4, which is 6 ml. 6 ml, yeah. Incorrect, 6 ml of water. Now we've gotten the measurement of oil. We've also gotten the measurement of water for this emulsion. Now we go to the gum, right? The gum is 1. The ratio between the oil and the gum is 1 and 4 to 1. The ratio between the water to gum is 2 to 1. We can use any of them, but let's use oil and gum. So 4 ml of this oil for this emulsion should contain 1 gram of our acacia gum for our emulsifying agent, which is acacia. Then how many grams should be contained, since we have 12 ml of our fixed oil? So when we do that multiplication, we're getting 3 grams of gum, right? So then we now have to do then is we've gotten so this is not weight, this is volume of oil, and we've gotten the volume of our oil, we've gotten the volume of our water, we've gotten the weight of our gum. This is in gram. So what do we do here? Yeah, first of all, we say 3 grams of this gum is now weighed into a mortar and titrated. Then we now add either, first of all, depending on the method you are using, there is a method called the dry method and the wet method. So you now transfer, assuming you are using the wet method, you first of all add your water, which is 6 ml into the already titrated gum, which your size reduced in your mortar. You add transfer 6 ml of this water into this mortar and keep titrating because this is an emulsion. And you also transfer 6 ml of arachis oil and 6 ml of cod liver oil into it and keep titrating till a whitish creamy paste is formed. This whitish creamy paste is now poured into an already tarred dispensing bottle, which was tarred at 30 ml, right? So after 10 minutes, you now make it up with chloroform water to 30 ml. So this is it for that. Now, in solving this question, it's important that you know what type of oil you are giving, because what type of oil you are giving will determine the ratio you would use in getting the volume of water you would require for that particular emulsion, and also the amount of gum you use for that particular emulsion. So over to the next question. Now, in this next question, we're going to be making an emulsion. Now, remember what I told also in the previous video, it's important that you know the type of oil that is going to be used. Now, this liquid paraffin, it's a type of mineral oil. Now, according to the ratios we have here, in mineral oil, we are using 3:1 for the oil water gum ratio. Oil water gum, it's going to be 3:1. First of all, we must have our multiplication factor. We asked to send 30, so 30 divided by the amount is 100 equals 0.3. Multiply this up multiplication factor by our prescription given to us to get our working formula. It's going to be multiplied by 0.3. It's going to be 15 ml. 15 ml multiplied by 100 multiplied by 0.3. 100 multiplied by 0.3 rather is going to give us 30 ml, right? So this question is kind of straightforward. So we're using a ratio for mineral oil 3:1, 3:1 oil, water, gum. We've gotten the measurement of our oil, which is 15 ml. So we're trying to get the measurement of our water to use here. Now say since 3 ml of mineral oil should contain 2 ml of water, then 15 ml of mineral oil for this particular preparation to contain X ml of water. X ml of water. So when we cross multiply this, we're getting 30 divided by 3, which is 10 ml. So we now have 10 ml of water for this particular prescription according to the ratio we have. Next, we try to get our gum. Now the gum is usually in gram because it usually comes in solid, so we're trying to get the gram. So we can use either the water or the gum ratio. We can use the oil or the gum ratio. We can use any one we want to use as long as we've gotten the previous one, the previous reference. So when we were here and we've not gotten this, we couldn't use this to get this because we've not gotten our reference, just this. We could only use the one we already had oil to get the previous one. So since we've gotten water, we can use water to get the amount of gum we're going to use. So since water is ratio is 2:1 to 1 gram, then since water is 10 ml, what's the weight of the gum we use here? So when we multiply this, it's going to give us 10 divided by 2, which is 5 gram. So our working formula is going to be 5 gram of gum, 5 gram of gum, 10 ml of water, and finally 15 ml of our liquid paraffin, our mineral oil. So how are we going to prepare this? Remember I told us there are different methods to preparing this, which is the wet method and the dry method. And the difference between the wet method and the dry method is that in the dry method, you first of all add the oil before adding the water, right? The water is being added last. In the wet method, the water is added first before you add the oil, right? So 5 gram of this gum is weighed into your mortar and then titrated till it's homogeneous or the size is reduced. Yes, and now assuming we are using a dry method, now weigh our oil, which is 15 ml of our liquid paraffin, then finally 10 ml of water is now weighed into the mortar. It's now measured into the water as well because it's liquid. It's now measured into the mortar as well. And you now titrate for probably around 10 minutes. You'll get a creamy liquid, a creamy mixture. And you now transfer it into your already tarred dispensing bottle because we're asked to send 30 dispensing bottle already tarred at 30 ml. Then you now make it up to 30 ml with the chloroform water. So that's this for this. What's our last question on emulsions? Our prescription here talks about arachis oil. Now arachis oil is an example of a fixed oil. So you're going to use the ratio of 4:1 here again. right? 4 to 1 for our oil, water, gum, right? But before that, we need to have our multiplication factor settled out. So we are sending 30 and we are asked to prepare 100. So 30 divided by 100 was 0.3. So when we multiply our multiplication factor with our prescription to get our working formula, 20 multiplied by 0.3, it's going to give us 6 mil. Then 400 multiplied by 0.3 is 120 milligram. 120 milligram divided by 1000, converting it into gram, is 0.1 gram. 100 mil multiplied by 0.3, by 0.3, will give us 30 mil. Now, this is what we are working with. What we need to get our volume of water that we are using for this emulsion. So since 4 mil of oil for a fixed oil should contain 2 mil of water, how many mil of water should be contained when our fixed oil is 6 mil, right? So when you cross multiply this, 12 divided by 4 will give you 3 mil. So we need 3 mil of water for this particular emulsion. So over to our gum, we could use 4 to 1, or we could use 2 to 1, since we've already gotten the volume of our water that we're using for this emulsion. So I could use any one of my choice. I choose to use oil and gum. So since 4 mil of oil in a fixed oil emulsion should contain 1 gram of our emulsifying agent or gum, how many gram of this gum should be contained in 6 mil? 6 mil. So when you do that, it's going to be 6 divided by 4. Let me get this real quick. It's 1.5 milligram, right? So this is basically our 1.5 gram here of gum, 0.5 gram of gum, of our acacia gum. So this is basically what we are going to be using. We are going to be using 6 mil of our volatile oil, our fixed oil. Then we are going to be using 3 mil of water, and finally 1.5 gram of our gum. So how do we then put this thing in writing? Because just like you've seen here, the sodium citrate here, and is a solid. So how do we do it? So first of all, we weigh out our gum 1.5 gram into our mortar and pestle. Then we titrate to size reduce the solid. Then we now transfer 0.1 gram of sodium citrate to the same mortar and continuously titrate the homogeneous mixture is formed. Then we now transfer water. According to our prescription, water we need here is 3 mil. We now transfer 3 mil of water into the same mortar and keep titrating. Then finally, we now transfer 6 mil of our fixed oil, which is arachis oil, to the same mortar and keep titrating till a whitish creamy mixture is formed. Then you now transfer it into your already tarred dispensing bottle, which was already tarred at 30 mil, right? So after then, you now make it up to 30 mil with the purified water. So with this, that's the end of our tutorial on emulsion. Thank you. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.